And welcome back, everyone. Just about 9:30, former officer Derek Chauvin guilty on all charges. This morning, our team coverage continues after the verdict. This morning, we're talking to a lawyer with more than 50 years serving Connecticut for most of that time. Defense lawyer John Williams joining us live this morning from New Haven. He is considered really a pioneer of the field of police misconduct litigation. Attorney Williams, so appreciate your joining us this morning and want to start with a question that we have been asking really over the course of the last couple of hours as this breaking news unfolded on our air. Kind of your gut reaction. What was your general reaction to that verdict coming down yesterday?
Well, I think the reaction that I have is the same as so many people. For example, President Biden yesterday. It's very nice. Obviously, it's a just verdict. But what took us so long? And is it really the case that only if we have a killing that is viewed live by millions, that leads to unprecedented demonstrations in the streets of many major cities, only then that we can realistically hope to see justice? Obviously, we still have a very long way to go, and all we need to do is take a look right here in Connecticut. How many police killings of African-American men primarily in whatever, the last year, the last 2 years or 3 years, have been investigated, quote unquote, by some state's attorney who has invariably said, oh no, it was justified, no problem, nothing to see here, folks, please move on. And that is invariably what happens. Now, sometimes that's true. Not every police killing is unjustified.
You
can't tell me that those odds, I mean, it just doesn't work that way. That defies common sense.
Forgive me for interrupting you there. You seem pleased with the outcome here. Is it what you expected in this case, given all that you just said?
It would have been extraordinary with all of the evidence, the overwhelming evidence that was presented in this case, the strikingly weak defense, and the fact that the jury clearly knew that the whole world, as they say, was watching. For a jury to be that irresponsible, particularly in a state like Minnesota, which, let's face it, for all of the failings that we all have, isn't quite the same as Alabama 50 years ago, where, of course, it was routine to have these open and shut murder cases result in acquittals where the victim was an African-American person. Is it better than it might have been? Yes. I have to say that I was secretly dreading, and I think many were, the possibility that even this jury and in this time still would have said, no, it's okay. There's nothing to see here, folks. But that would have been strange.
And Attorney Williams, with just about 30 seconds left to go, for people who have been watching this throughout the process, what happens next? We know Derek Chauvin is behind bars this morning. He's not going to be sentenced for about 8 weeks or so. What happens between now and then?
Well, it's the usual process. Court officials conduct a background investigation. Usually it's done through a probation department. And then they submit a written report to the judge, which is reviewed by the lawyers on both sides, who have opportunities to challenge its findings, and then the judge presumably has more information about the background and history of this particular offender so that a fair and just sentence can be imposed. One would certainly think that in a case like this, where obviously there's such a callous killing, that the sentence would be on the high end of the possible range, but of course you never know.
Attorney John Williams, we appreciate your insight this morning on the Fox 61 Morning News. Thank you for your time.
It's a pleasure to be here.
All right. Still to come right here on the Fox 61 Morning News. We're all local, all morning, more reaction.